Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was probably one of the most disappointing games the franchise had ever seen. A lot of really hardcore Five Nights at Freddy's fans really hated how the game turned out, and I mean, I can understand that. It's a buggy mess, it doesn't have a good narrative, it rewrites part of the lore, and while it's meant to be a horror game, it is definitely not scary at all. Now, I loved this game, but I completely understand if you found this game to be horrible, because, look, it is a bad game. However, somehow this game got greenlit to make a DLC, and boy, was this DLC hyped. Ruin looked like it would fix all of Security Breach's problems, to fixing the bugs, to being a coherent game, to actually being a horror game. Finally, Security Breach would be fixed and justified, because we would get this amazing DLC as a result, and it would be amazing. It sucks. No, really, why? This DLC, it's so bad. I know what you're thinking. Jerikai, Ruin's not bad. I mean, it's not Security Breach. And you know what? You are absolutely right. It could be way worse. Now look, Ruin as a concept is not bad at all, and the first section of this game is actually really well made, and actually sets this game up really well. From when you first enter the pizzeria as Cassie, to walking through the rotting structures, to finding the walkie with Gregory asking us to help, the elevator slamming down, the vent falling, Chica's jump scare, the introduction to the Fazrent, and Monty's jump scare through the pipe to the title screen is really well done, and I really like this part of the game. But it all went downhill from here. Now look, I understand that this is a DLC and not a full game, so I can't complain for it not being a full experience that a game should have, or for having a lack of content. However, I can complain about the content not being up to par or just not very fun. And yeah, look, Ruin is just not fun. For starters, the puzzles, the goddamn puzzles. Look, I know that a lot of games and even horror games have a ton of puzzles. Think Poppy Playtime, Hello Neighbor, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Little Nightmares. I'll be honest, I'm not always the biggest fan of puzzles in horror games, but the ones that I end up liking the most are the puzzles that make the most sense and aren't too cryptic, while also being separate from the threat at hand. You can make puzzles that you can complete while dealing with a threat, but it's normally done in a way that's both easy to avoid while not slowing the pace of the entire game down. And with that, I want to introduce to you the absolute worst part of this entire game. MXES, or the Unibrow Bunny, I don't fucking know. Okay, so after we fall down the sewer, we come across a mask bot, who gives us a Vanny mask, which allows us to walk through walls. What the fuck? God, this franchise just gets worse as time goes on. So anyways, with this Vanny mask, we get to look through a virtual world where we can follow cords that lead to child nodes that unlock security nodes. Okay, I'll be honest, the first time I had to do this, I had absolutely no fucking idea what to do. This isn't super cryptic, but my god, is it explained horribly. So anyways, after you complete one of these puzzles, which by the way, is literally one of the 5 puzzles in the game, and this is easily the worst one, we meet this bunny, who, look, I'll be honest, on paper sounds like a really cool idea, although he looks like shit. He lures animatronics to you, so you need to take the mask off when he appears to prevent him from doing so. But there is a huge problem, and rather than just straight up telling you, I'm going to show you what happens in 95% of situations like this. Can you spot what just happened? Yeah, nothing. And that's the thing. Nothing happens. You just leave the mask, and then after like 15 to 30 seconds, you can put the mask back on. Now, this wouldn't be the worst thing on the planet, except that it happens over and over and over again. You go into the VR world. After 30 to 60 seconds, your boy spawns, you leave the mask and stare at the wall for 15 to 30 seconds, and then you go back in and he might be gone. So you literally spend most of this game doing absolutely nothing and just getting stalled from completing a task for literally no reason whatsoever. So most of the runtime of this surprisingly long DLC is spent just waiting out a fucking rabbit. If not, then you're just following the lead to one object and then another, and then another, and then you solve a simple match the pictures puzzle, and that's most of the game. And then it's a bunch of scripted cutscenes, which yeah, you know, some of them are cool, but oh my god, this game just drag on at the cutscenes. And then there's the door puzzles where you have to line up the leads so they're all blue, but they move so slow, it's just wasting more time. Not to mention the audio lures that lead animatronics away from an area, or in Roxy's case, literally force you to slowly move between cameras until Roxy is in the right spot, or lure Music Men away from a specific section to hit a specific thing. All the tasks just drag on and on for no reason and make this DLC way longer than it needed to be. And look, if the threats in this game were actually real and actually intimidating, then maybe I would actually care a little bit more. But I'm not scared while playing this. They literally added the endos in because that was the only scary part of Security Breach, but ruined the one thing that made that section scary, the threat of not looking at them. Now you can just put on the mask and just walk around them. Monty is a goddamn joke. Not only do I believe that this guy would actually be able to kill you, he's just so dumb. And look, if I'm being honest, just the fact that all the threats like Chica and Roxy just wander around rather than target and chase you down is just dumb. And I get that they made this game more linear and in tighter spaces, so that might have just been a bit unfair, but until you realize that the reason the game is so linear to begin with is because they're trying to do their best not to break it, but they gave us the mask, which I would argue is more broken than Freddy in Security Breach. Speaking of Freddy, man, is Freddy's section a bit dull, to say the least. Like, it's a super cool concept that the guy who helped us in the first game is now our enemy. I know the good in the game is a prototype, shut up, FNAF lore sucks. But yeah, it's just one simple chase sequence that ends with a dash to a signal jammer, and then you put on the mask, and that's it. Like, what? This could have been the best moment in this game, and you cut it way too short, and end it in the most anticlimactic way possible. You drag on Roxy walking through different parts of the same hallway, but cut short the most terrifying thing that is in this game. You'd think with all these dragged out sections and drawn out puzzles that the payoff would be great, right? Right. Okay, so the ending. Roxy, who is nice, kinda, I don't fucking know, is trapped under a car for some reason, and we have to kill her to save Gregory. But it turns out that it's not Gregory, even though it's so obviously not Gregory, but no, it's not Gregory, it's the who is just, what? Like, this is taking the whole technology side of Five Nights at Freddy's to a new extreme that I just hate. But yeah, anyways, Roxy saves us even though she's meant to be dead or whatever, and Gregory just in time reaches us even though you're at the lowest point in the pizzeria and it should be the hardest to reach you there, but whatever. Then the Mimic, who is like 10 feet tall, starts chasing us, and we have to reach an elevator and solve a puzzle, which is meant to be tense, but I think you get a stupid amount of time. And then after that, Gregory fucking kills you by letting you fall. What? That's it. That's the whole DLC. A bunch of walking around, completing puzzles that drag on for no reason, and then one chase scene with a 10-foot tall boy, and then you die. The goddamn end. What the fuck did I just play? So, I guess the question that's on everyone's mind is, did this game actually fix Security Breach? No. It just made it way worse. Actually, it made Security Breach much more fun, because although Ruin tried to be scary, it's the most mind-numbing experience to play. At least Security Breach is fun. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I would say that Ruin is one of the worst Five Nights at Freddy's games to come out, and although it's not the worst, it's not far off. But this game definitely has the worst jump scares. What the fuck? Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked this one, you might like this video where I talk about how I think that the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 animatronics have some of the worst designs in the entire series. Or don't watch it, I don't know. I mean, if you enjoyed the video, least you could do is subscribe. Please. Anyways, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, bye.